All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Eric Bradford. I'm with Asheville GreenWorks. I'm joined by my colleague, Carrie Harmon. And we thank you so much for being interested in the Hard to Recycle series. This orientation will walk you through a typical event for our recycling series. This particular one is for North Buncombe High School, but this will mostly apply to most of the events that we do. So thank you again for being here and signing up. Let's get this screen shared and going. Can everyone see the welcome and thank you? Thumbs up, everybody. Great. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. All right. So, whoops. That's something right there that should have been I should have caught that earlier, huh? Let's fix that real quick. September 13th at North Buncombe High School. Nothing like having this live recorded. There it is, right there, folks. So yes, hard to recycle this weekend will be rain or shine. So there's no call for rain right now, which is great, but we always ask folks to be prepared just in case. Really, in this time of year for us, it's mostly layers. It's gonna be cooler that morning. So if you're on first shift, please do prepare with layers. Bring yourself a warm beverage, but sunblock, oddly enough. So it will get warmer throughout the day to peel those layers off. The sun is out, and so we want to make sure that everyone is staying safe and prepared. We'd like to thank all of our partners for this event. Thank you to our friends Buncombe County Schools, especially North Buncombe High School. They've been a great partner over the years. And we're actually going to highlight a brand new sponsor partner for this year. This is Remix It Asheville. Remix It Asheville is going to be a creative reuse center that is going to be opening up in Asheville, and they're going to be taking some items at our events, mostly art related supplies, and we're going to go over that a bit later. So we're super happy to have Remix at Asheville on there. We love the idea of something getting reused, not just recycled. Curbside, one click fix, Buncombe County, the city of Asheville, Biltmore Computers, Biltmore Iron and Metal Company. Honestly, could not do these events without them. They're the ones who that we all work with to get these items recycled here in the U.S. And I like to say that as many times as I possibly can. These items are all recycled here in the U.S. They do not leave the country and become someone else's problem. So our events, some of you have been to them and some of you have not. Our events run from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We do hold them on Saturdays, and we try our darndest to make sure that we're moving folks through in a safe and quick manner so that they can get on with their Saturday. And so we do have multiple teams working, and you may have signed up for traffic team, for instance. It's the traffic team's job to communicate really well with everyone else as far as how many cars we have, what if there's any holdups, slowdowns, and get them through the event. If there's any question marks, things like this, you'll see traffic walking around with walkie-talkies and trying to keep the event moving smoothly for everybody else who's working so hard to keep everything unloaded and sorted. For this event, we are going back to North Buncombe High School. So for folks that have not been out to North Buncombe High, it's a very large campus. There are two ways to enter the campus. You have the address here, which is 890 Clark's Chapel Road. So that if you punch in North Buncombe High School, that's the address that's going to come up, 890 Clark Chapel Road. And that is going to take you all the way through the school to then get to the back parking lot for where we're going to be set up. If any of you know this area, North Buncombe High School, you know that there's also the Salem Hill Road access, which is coming off of Flat Creek Road. And so you can get back there as well too. And one of the things I will be asking, and I will send out an additional email for the second shift volunteers, is to try to access the Salem Hill Road side. I'm going to include a link because there is no address to the site. I'm going to include a Google Maps GPS link so that folks can click on it and follow it there. This will be easier way to get into the event once it's rolling, and versus trying to go all the way through the school to get into the event itself. As we look at our map here, it's very straightforward for all of you who've been to events before. We try to line up our sponsors and then try to keep the flow of traffic in the blue lines in the center of it. And at this event, we are fortunate to have two lines, so we can have double the amount of cars coming through this particular event. So we'll have our usual suspects. So we'll have Biltmore Iron and Metal Company collecting scrap metal, electronics, appliances, batteries, but they're also accepting TVs and monitors. Styrofoam is going to be in the large white semi trailers that we're going to have two of those at the property. This is a bit, this data here is just a touch old. The actual company is called Biltmore Computers. Is going to be taking care of all of the laptops, computers, the hard drives, cell phones, and also toner cartridges. And do not memorize any of this right now. We will hand you sheets at the event, and you're going to get to know the partner while you're at the event itself, so that you can tell what they take and what they don't take. We'll also have signs, cheat sheet signs that'll be at their station, so you can see what it is they take. But really, the computers, the cell phones, we really need to make sure those are handled by those persons. So if you do, are you taking some computers out of someone's car and some cell phones, we need to make sure that we're getting them straight to a bit more computers so that they're making sure that those hard drives and that data that's on them is not going to go any further than our event. And the question may come up, um, can my hard drive be destroyed? And the answer is yes. And so if the person wants to see their hard drive being destroyed, we'll have to pull them over to the side, park them, and walk them over there to have them have Biltmore Computers take apart their computer, take the hard drive out, and then they have two ways of doing it. They have a degaussing machine, which is a magnet that wipes it, or they can have the crusher that crushes the hard drive. I always prefer the crusher just because it's so visceral. So either way, though, we try to service our customers. We want to make sure that they know that their data is not leaving this space. We also have our friends with curbside management, so the folks that do the recycling for your area. They take books, shredded paper that has been bagged. So we don't shred paper at these events, but we will accept shredded paper that's already been pre-bagged. And as Carrie will tell you, we get a surprisingly large amount of pre-shredded paper and that comes into these events, as well as books. We get a ridiculous amount of books, but we will have teams that are working on diverting books and sorting books. There are folks who will come out to this event who will try to divert these books so that they can be read one more time. The the market for used books is very small, and so these books will be going to be shredded and to become the pulp paper that's used in hydro seeding. So we desperately want to make sure these books are read at least one more time. So there's a prisons program that we work with, and I think a children's library as well too. And then obviously, folks, take home books. I have a library of books that I have brought home from the Hard to Recycle event. And so we will be sorting those. My daughter will be at that station as well too, helping to sort those spaces. And so we also have two Kirby stations. The other one is going to be cardboard. So we also get a lot of cardboard that comes in, and that's going to be in the form of what looks like a garbage truck, and it will be constantly moving through the entire event. We're going to be loading it and crushing it all throughout the event. But then you may have one of the other persons from the stations comes over and says, "Hey, I need some boxes," and so we're grabbing those boxes and trying to reuse them at the event as well too. So we have a really nice system going with that. We also have TerraCycle. So TerraCycle is a program where this company, is for-profit company, accepts items that normally cannot be recycled. Think Go-Go squeeze fruits, deodorant containers, eyeliner containers, all sorts of interesting items like that that normally cannot go through the recycling chain. They take those and they upcycle those into all sorts of different new products. So if you have a moment to look up TerraCycle.com, it's a really interesting company. The city of Asheville actually runs that program for us. So they're going to send out their staff persons, and they take a large list, which we're going to go over later, of items for that TerraCycle program as it comes in. This is Christine Stowe, and you all get the absolute joy and pleasure to get to work with her. We get to work with her every day. She's amazing. She's our bookkeeper. But Christine will be running the volunteer tent, and Christine keeps us well oiled at the organization and running financially great. But she also stuffs us with sweets all the time. So I have bad news for all of you. She will do likewise. She will see you, assume you're hungry, and try to feed you. And so Christine will be not only feeding you, but she will also be making sure they're staying hydrated, that you have the supplies you need. She has the first aid station, but she also has the sign-in. So the sign-in is very important. So once you get to the end, we're going to direct you over to Christine to make sure you're signed in and you know which group that you're going to be working in that day. We love this picture because she was working during her birthday, and I think this is Carrie got her that, and so that was a lot of fun. So Christine, we love you. It's going to be so much fun. So safety is paramount. at these events, we're going to have anywhere from 600 to 900 cars coming through this event. And we're knock on wood, we haven't had any incidents. We haven't had any cars run together. We haven't had any volunteers run over. We've been trying. Philip, for some reason, keeps dodging the cars. We try every event to get him run over, but it doesn't happen. So we're all wearing our safety vests. And so we provide, there's 3 safety vests, which I'm going to show you those different ones, but those 3 different types of safety vests are for the different stations that you work at the event. We ask that you wear the gloves that we provide you. Please wear them at all times while you're there because you are picking up items and things out of either person's cars. Wear your safety vest at all times. We will provide some snacks, but please bring the ones that you prefer as well too. So you may not prefer what we've brought. We can't bring everything for everyone, but we try to do the best we can with gluten sensitivities and vegan products. We try to have some of those items around, but if you have something you prefer, please feel free to bring that. We will provide a station to fill up water, Gatorade, and we will provide drinks as well throughout the event. But we also, if you can bring your water bottle, that would be great because we will have a station for you to refill it. When you are unloading a vehicle, we need you to communicate with that person and ask permission and say, hi, may I have permission to open your door? Can I open this? Can I take this? And I'll tell you why that's happened before. And it's happened where, we think these items are hard to recycle items, and those are not hard to recycle items that's in their car. So we let them direct us and say, it's that bag, it's this printer here. That needs to go in. So we are always asking permission before we access someone's vehicle so that we can get that out. We also like for folks to try to stay in their car if at all possible, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way. Sometimes they have to get out and unlock something or otherwise, but please try to get them to stay in the vehicle if at all possible. Again, do not remove items from a car unless you have permission, but more importantly from that, if it's not on our list of things we accept, please don't take it out of the car because once we touch that item and we take it away from that car, it's really difficult to put it back in once we found out we can't take it. So this list that we talk about the items we can accept, if it is not on that list, we cannot accept it. You're gonna receive a lot of really nice folks who's gonna say, I've got this, I've been saving these for a long time, and I'm hoping you guys will take them. And so if it's not on the list, we just cannot take it. And so that is a hard conversation to have with some folks. But if you say it quickly and you say it nicely, they'll understand that we just can't accept everything. We will have a list that you can hand people that says where you can take certain items. So common items, paint, fluorescent bulbs, tires. Well, we get those questions a lot. So we have a list you can hand folks. Don't take items home unless improved. And really that's more for the computer, cell phone side of things. We don't like for those to leave the event at all, but pretty much everything else is up for grabs. If you see a super cool ceiling fan that came in that still works, absolutely. We want to see that thing working. We don't want to see it chewed up and turned back into electronics. We want to see it be reused. So if you see something neat and it's not a computer or a cell phone, absolutely, please take it. And really everybody there is going to support traffic. So let's help keep that event moving. Let's try to keep those cars moving because this is a service that we do for the community, but we also want to be very, very good stewards of persons' times when they come to these events because, they're there, they're waiting in line and they want to get this thing recycled. So we try to do the best we can to keep it moving. So as I mentioned before, there are 3 tiers of volunteer vests you're going to see tomorrow. The green vests are usually the experts at the event. So we manage the event and we can answer any of the questions that may come up and handle anybody that may be having a rough day. So if they're a little frowny faced, feel free to turn around to anybody in a green vest and say, hey, can I get an expert over here real quick? And we're ready to have that conversation with somebody. If someone is a little sort of grumpy with you and getting grumpier, you can say, you can say something like they don't pay me enough for this or whatever, something along those lines. It's always fun. Orange vests are going to be your group leaders, and we have a couple of group leaders on this call tonight. So your group leaders are persons who manage stations. So they've committed themselves to these events. They've learned what it is that we take, how we run these events. So your orange vest folks are going to be running your station. So if you see the persons that's running electronics or televisions, running cardboard books, you'll see an orange vest person there. That's your point person for your station, for that station, so you can ask them questions. hey, where can I put this? Oh, this is over here. Question, question, question. We're going to talk about fees. There's only one item that we do charge a fee for, and that is televisions and monitors. And Carrie's going to talk a little bit about that process that we're trying to do to try to smooth that out a little bit. But that's the only item that we charge for at this event. And your group leader for televisions, electronics, um, is going to be working with our new system of a person there that's going to have a way to actually take electronic payments. So we're moving into the 21st century over here with our process. The yellow vests, which everyone's really familiar with, these are the heart and soul volunteers of our organization. 3,600 persons a year wear these vests, and they do projects ranging from roadside cleanups to recycling events to community cleanups. So they're very, very recognized. And so without these folks, nothing happens. And so most folks are going to be in the yellow vest, and that yellow vest tells everybody that you're not getting paid to be there. You could be anywhere else this Saturday, but you're here and you're supporting waste diversion here in the area. Donations, Carrie, I'll let you take it from here.
Cool. Donations. Welcome and appreciated. We have that's an example of some of the signs that we'll have up at the event. As cars are coming through, they'll see these signs. We now accept credit cards for donations and TV fees. We piloted accepting credit cards, I think, at this event a year ago. So, and we've changed something and learned every time we've done it. So this will be, we've got some great stuff figured out for this event to make it easier for y'all to accept credit card or electronic payments. Um, but we're going to keep making it better. So we'll get into some different slides, but if you've signed up for data collection, you are going to be in charge of accepting donations, TV fees, and also collecting zip codes at the event and taking, oh my gosh, thanking people at the end and grabbing their VIP flags. I see myself keep freezing. Is my audio coming through okay? Okay, cool. Great. I'm just going to be frozen sometimes, no problem. So if you sign up for data collection, we'll have you in three different spots at the event. Um, I will be your main point of contact for the entire day. I will have a walkie-talkie on me, and each person at each location will have access to either a walkie-talkie or someone with a walkie-talkie. So if you need to get a hold of me, I'm only a 10-4 away. Um, so we're going to have most of our data collection volunteers are going to be at the front of the line, which is where I will be most of the time. So this will be before cars actually enter the event. Um, what we did last time, which worked really well, which you saw in the previous slide, was we just had our volunteers line up with a line of cars. We ask them all the questions, and then they enter the event. And then the next set of cars moves forward. We ask them all the questions simultaneously, and then get them going. So what we're going to be asking for is for their zip code, and also if they'd like to make a donation to GreenWorks. Those are the two questions we're going to be focusing on at the entrance of the event. Um, the zip code survey is basically a Google form. So I will have a QR code for you to scan on your phone, and you just enter their zip code as they come through. Most of the donations that we do receive are most of the donations that we receive are cash donations or check donations, but we do have, since it's kind of a new thing that we're accepting credit card donations, people may not know that they can do that. And so we will have certain volunteers like myself, group leaders who will be able to accept credit card donations. We'll talk a little bit more about that kind of the day of, and I'll be reaching out to all my data collection people tomorrow just to give you a little more of a detailed heads up on stuff. Where was I? Data collection at the entrance. And then we're also going to station one of my data collectors. Go back up one slide, Eric, maybe one or two slides. One more up. Thank you. And at the exit. So this one is pretty simple. You're kind of going to be out by yourself at the end of the event, and all you have to do is accept donations from people as they leave the event, and also remove these fun little VIP flags that people will get on their car when they make a donation. I kind of skipped over that part in the entrance. So we have these little, they're just like you see on the picture of this car here. They're just little green or yellow pieces of paper that say VIP on them. And when someone makes a donation at the front of the line, we're just going to slip that under their windshield and let them know that you're now a VIP of this event. And all that means, it doesn't give them any special treatment necessarily. They don't get through the line any faster, although you can tell them that if it makes them feel better. Um, this is just for our volunteers throughout the event to be able to recognize them as donors and just thank them. That's all it is. So part of the exit job is you're going to be just pulling those little flags out as people leave. If someone, we're not playing like traffic. What is that traffic game with the little frogs? I don't know, Frogger. We're not playing Frogger, so you're not going to try and jump in front of any cars to get these VIP flags. If someone wants to drive through with it under their windshield, you let them go. But this is just one last opportunity for you to thank them for being a donor and just grab that flag. Okay. And third, new for this event, next slide, the third place my data collection volunteers will be at is actually stationed at the BIMCO collection area to accept electronic and cash TV payments. So there'll be one person stationed at the BIMCO TV bin who is going to be in charge of taking all of the cash and electronic payments for TVs and monitors. Just going to be a dedicated person standing there with a square reader and a bag of cash to handle that. Um, so I'm excited to see how that goes. Um, Next, we put in about the zip codes. I have a lot of my volunteers and people ask like, why do you need my zip code? It's not required, but this is a pretty basic explanation. It just helps us figure out where folks come from to come to these events, so that we can identify possible future locations for these events. And also, maybe, hopefully, we're working on a permanent convenience center. And so having this information just allows us to really see where the best possible place to have a convenience center might be. It help us make our case, so to speak. Um, Going on down, man, these seem kind of out of order. I just made these slides today, so bear with me. We're gonna maybe reorder them another time. So if you see a VIP flag on a vehicle, just like the little yellow and green, you can see them on the left side of the car there where the red arrow is. That just means that they're a donor. They made a donation to GreenWorks, either at the event or maybe they're a monthly donor that we recognize, or maybe they let us know that they made a donation recently. We're going to put one of these little VIP flags in their windshield. And then what you get to do throughout the event is just you get to hype them up. And you just get to be like their personal hype person. You could be like, oh my God, thank you so much. You can do high fives, jump up and down, say thank you so much, cue the confetti, or not. Totally up to you. Just whatever you're comfortable with. Just an easy thank you. Oh yeah. You could be like this lovely girl here who's just so excited to thank you for being a donor. And I don't know if there's any more slides for me or if that's it.
That's it. That's
Great.
great, Carrie. Thank you so much for managing that piece of the puzzle. It's gotten better and better every event because of you. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And just we have just a couple questions about that part of it. The TV and monitor fee is $10 per monitor and TV. All-in-one computers like Macs, like the big MacBooks, not MacBooks, the big Macs, the big screen computers, those don't count because those will go to iMacs. Thank you. The voice in my ear over here said IMAX. Those will go straight to the computer folks and they don't charge. It's just if it's a TV or a large standalone monitor is $10 each. And I think I kind of answered this for Benjamin. VIP, no, they don't get anything special. They just get all of us to hype them up throughout the event and say thank you so much for being a donor. That's pretty much it.
So yeah, just as Carrie was saying, that is it. That's the one item that we charge for, which is that $10 fee paid to BIMCO. And so the way that works is like Carrie was saying, we're going to have one central person up there at the televisions accepting the funds, which I can tell you, Philip is going to love because a lot of times
Yes.
it's Philip. We're having to chase Philip around and be like, hey, make a change. And Philip is carrying like three televisions at the time. So so this is going to be nice to have that person there, one point person that can make change, keep up with what's going on, make credit card payments, because we want to try to reduce barriers for this event as well to make it as easy as we can for folks. And I would like to highlight Biltmore as a Biltmore Iron and Metal company as a sponsor as well too. they're accepting $10, but they're paying somewhere between $13 and $17 themselves on top of that to have these televisions taken apart by a company here in North Carolina, and all the components were covered. So they're putting in a part, and our event goers are putting in a part. I want to say it's something like 20 something dollars, $27 to have each television recycled. So this is fantastic that they're eating a part of this, so that our event goers can have a more approachable price to get these televisions recycled. So just a quick going over the list of accepted items. There's a much larger list, which I will share with everyone, but this is just the down and dirty list. So at the Biltmore Iron and Metal Station, you're going to have electronics. So we always say anything that ever had electricity or gasoline running through it, we can take it. So you're going to get people like, well, how about my humidifier? Yes. How about my dehumidifier? Yes. How about my gas lawnmower? Yes. We can take all of those particular items to be recycled. You look down here, scrap metal is a big one for us as well too. We can take any type of scrap metals that are coming in. Someone has an old fence. Someone has a grill that has spent too long outside. We can take all of those sort of metals to be recycled. But here's a really exciting one: batteries. All kinds of batteries. So your hearing aid battery all the way up to a car battery. We can take any of those types of batteries to be recycled. And another one, this is another one of those things Biltmore Iron and Metal eats the cost of so that we can get these recycled. As Philip will tell you, at these events, we receive more and more batteries at each event because persons are really doing a great job of hanging on to them. I mean, at one event, it was usually like one 55-gallon drum. I think we're up to four 55-gallon drums we accept per event of just household little batteries. It's an amazing amount of batteries that comes in. A bit more electronics again. I can't say this enough. So desktop, laptops, phones, power supplies, cables, mice, all those sort of things go into them. And then as well as ink and toner cartridges. They're a really great service for us to have on hand, keeping that data, making sure that it doesn't get lost. Now let's go to the touchy subject, styrofoam. What is styrofoam? And I'm going to show you a photo here in a bit as far as what we can accept and what we can't. So we're looking for food grade styrofoam. So think of your egg cartons, your cup from Sonic, your carry away from your favorite restaurant, that type of styrofoam, as long as it's clean, and then also white packaging styrofoam. So that television you purchased, and it comes with that halo of white styrofoam that's rigid, and when you break it, it turns into tiny dots. We can take those two types of styrofoam, which is turns out to be a small portion of what is actually considered styrofoam. So you're going to see all kinds of styrofoam that is not styrofoam. And there's going to be a piece of paper that shows more detail while you're there at the event. But again, some folks just stuff it all into a bag. So sometimes you'll get a bag and you'll look in and it's got foam inside it, like squishy foam, and the hard styrofoam. So we ask that our patrons sort those out for us when we get there. It's like, oh, we can't take these items and immediately start sticking them back into their vehicle. And they're going to say, why? Why can't you take this? This is all styrofoam. And the reason for this is the company we work with is called Dart Container. So if you've ever had a little drinking cup, a little white styrofoam drinking cup, it probably came from them. They can only accept a narrow band of styrofoam to be upcycled into another product. So that's where that is. We can't find anyone else that will recycle the other various types of foams and packing peanuts and such. Curbside, again, cardboard, books, and shredded paper. And TerraCycle, this is only a tiny list of what they can accept, but it's everything from Brita filters, oral care products, deodorant packaging, squeezable food pouches, razor blades, unopened cutlery. So think of every time you go for a carry out and they give you that unopened cutlery you're not using. Well, we have a diligent volunteer who takes those and she gets those to places like Meals on Wheels and 12 Baskets and places that desperately need that type of cutlery so that they can feed their clients. So let's talk about styrofoam. So we use these really large semi trailers and we use these giant bags to stuff our styrofoam into it. So we want to make sure that all of that styrofoam is really clean, high quality styrofoam when it's going in there. So no tape, no trash on the styrofoam, because if it gets to Dart and it's full of trash, they're going to take that whole bag and throw it into the dumpster. They're not going to try to sort it out. So we need it to be very clean when it gets there. We will fill up 2 semi trailers at this event. It will be nonstop. Every vehicle that comes in is going to have styrofoam in it. It's amazing. See that giant bag right there? Yeah, this is crazy how it comes into us, and it's so great because that really encourages us that everyone's working so hard to maintain and keep this stuff. So let's talk about what we can and cannot accept. Notice how there's only three items on here that we can take. So you've got your food grade styrofoam, which is in the both the multicolors, and then your white styrofoam, and then you have your white packaging styrofoam, the kind again that you break and it turns into tiny little pieces. And there's a lot of styrofoam we can't. So if it's squishy foam, if it's insulation, which is technically styrofoam, but it's treated with fire retardant. So we can't take any of that because it would, once it's heated up, it off gases all that fire retardant. And then packing peanuts. So we can't take any of those. So the first thing we do is as we're working with our customer there is to say, ooh, thank you for bringing this, but we can't get this recycled. I'm going to leave that in your car. And then they're going to say, what do I do with this? And you say, unfortunately, it has to go to the landfill until something changes, until some new company arises that can recycle these items. Um, Electronics, scrap appliances, metals, and televisions and monitors. This is like Blake here, who's one of the owners of Biltmore Iron and Metal Company, carrying that carrying that microwave by himself. Come on, Blake. Don't show off for the photo. Always look for help. We're going to bring out these really nice new roller carts for this next event to make things a little bit easier for everybody. Always pick something up with someone else. If it's a large item, don't stress. Get a little help. We don't want anyone straining themselves at these events because it's going to be a long event. It goes by pretty quick. You'll be surprised. You're going to get your steps in for sure. Monitors, as Carrie was mentioned before. So we're not seeing as many large glass TV, old school TVs these days. And that's telling us that we're kind of getting through those televisions. Obviously, they're not being sold anymore, but we're getting through those and we're starting to see a lot of these flat screen monitors that are coming into us to be recycled. This is our friends over at Biltmore Computers. And as you can see, they set up a station and start tearing down the computers right there on the site. It is amazing. These guys are super, super efficient. They're getting out those hard drives, storing those hard drives. But better than that is they're recognizing the componentry that's inside of here. And then inside of their trailer, they're putting it into the various boxes where it goes. So all of this product is going to be back in a new, it's going to be tested and back in a new computer within, 6 months or so. So we love this because that's the highest level of reuse right there is from one componentry to another without having to be reworked. So, hats off to Biltmore Computers. They work super hard. They actually bring all their own volunteers, which is a real bonus for us too. Books, you're you're going to see so many books that come through this event. It's like the 5 copies of the unauthorized biography of Nancy Reagan. So, please, again, if you have a moment and you're taking a quick break, come by the book station and have a look. See, you're going to see some really incredible books come through there. I have.
Threw away Stephen King.
What do you see a Stephen King in there?
Yeah, right above Pittsburgh.
Oh my gosh,
What the
heavens.
heck, guys?
That didn't happen. Come on now. And so yeah, I blame that my daughter wasn't working that event, and that's why that's there. So we try to do a good job of picking those books out as much as we can and then diverting those into those programs, to that prison books program and to that child's program as well too. And here we go. As you can see, it's a bit of a mess on the ground as it's being sorted, but I tell you what, it's good work. We can really get those books where they need to be. And if you see some books at the event you want to take home again, please take them. Here's the cardboard truck where we're accepting the cardboard and getting that smashed. That will be filled at the end of this event. It's usually about 3,600 pounds of cardboard comes through this event. TerraCycle, again, is going to be those really interesting items, and there's so many different bins that it goes into. Our friends from the city of Asheville have a much more complex system that they've set up now, and more bins, more signage. And so when you are taking a TerraCycle over to them, they will sort it out for us when we're there. So you don't have to worry about sorting it into the various bins. But it's an incredible system of items. So, oral care products, so toothbrushes and shavers and all sorts of things that cannot go into your recycling. It's a really neat program. These are the common items we can't accept. You're going to get this question more than anything else. You're going to get a shoebox, and that shoebox is going to have these items in it. I promise you every single time. 2 CFL bulbs, a handful of batteries, a smoke detector, and some cords. Every time, every car is going to have, if you see a shoebox, that's what's inside of it. And so out of those things, we can take all of it except for the light bulbs. And so The reason we don't take light bulbs is because both Lowe's and Home Depot take them for free, and they take them 7 days a week at no charge. And so we're trying to promote folks to go to those places, take those bulbs there to be recycled. Plastic baggies. So like the ones you get at the grocery store, we don't take those, but you can check with bagandfilmrecycling.org. But I can tell you right now, all the grocery stores in our area, except for Aldi and Trader Joe's, has a plastic bag recycling station. So they'll take them from any store as long as they're clean, and they'll get those recycled. Rigid plastics, so chairs, kids' toys, buckets, PVC pipes, hoses. Can't take any of those sort of things. The last time we were able to take those products was in 2011. So it's been years since we've been able to find somebody to take those products. Sadly, they're all landfill at this point. Construction materials, so wood, drywall, cement, things like that. Can't take any of those things. We can't take any kind of liquids at all. So cooking, motor oils, paint, chemicals, all of those need to go to the landfill to be properly disposed of. The list gets a little bit bigger, and this is the list you're going to have. It's a small list that you'll be able to put in your back pocket and hand those out to folks. But this talks about what are those items and where they can go. So tells you where to take them to, TerraCycle items, flower pots, motor oils, things like this. Common items, because they want to do something with it that day. All of these places, except for the county landfill, is open. And they can take it there right from our place. Like, oh, there's a Lowe's just down at the next exit if you want to swing by there and get rid of this. And I think there's an advanced auto that's over there too, and they'll take your oil. So it's just telling people where these things are so they can get them recycled. So these are some common questions that you're going to get at the event. People are going to be like, what do you guys do with all this styrofoam? And I don't know why, Carrie, but people say, do you guys burn it? And I think that's a funny question because we're going to go to all this trouble to collect this styrofoam, and we're going to make a giant, really toxic fire with it. So we actually, like I said, work with a company called Dart Container. They're located in Randleman, North Carolina, which is about 180 miles away toward Greensboro. And they take this in, and it's chewed up, it's reformed, and processed into new plastic products. Why do we charge for televisions? These are hand disassembled. The average monitor, like the old one that you grew up with, that really heavy one, could hold anywhere from 7 to 9 pounds of lead inside of there. And there's also mercury switches and things like this inside of those televisions. All those things need to be captured so that they don't get into our groundwater. So that's why the cost of having these things hand disassembled. They just can't go into a shredder. Why aren't there more hard to recycle events? So these are, as you can see here, primarily ran by volunteers. We're going to have 150 volunteers on Saturday running this event. It is wide open the entire time we're there. Most of the costs of this event is absorbed by our partners and our sponsors. And so these items are basically landfill items. And so this event is to try to keep us from putting those in and get them a new home. So this is a difficult project to operate. We are, as Carrie said earlier, looking for down the road for us to be able to have a permanent location for the hard to recycle. It would be open something like 2 to 3 days a week, centrally located. That way people don't have to save these items like they're doing now and waiting once a quarter. They could come out and bring it when it's more convenient for them. So this is our dream for this event, is to have it where it's at a permanent location and open, like I say, throughout the week. So fingers crossed. And how do I get involved? So if you want to get even more involved than what you're currently doing, we have so many other ways. So if you like the Hard to Recycle event, you're going to love our river cleanup program. You're going to love our tree program, our urban forestry, where you can go and work in our tree nursery. You can plant trees. We have so many other different ways to get involved with GreenWorks. So I'm going to leave this up here real quick for everyone. You probably got my email, but this is my cell phone number. This is going to come right to me. So if there's something that happens for the day of the event itself, you're having trouble finding me or something along those lines, then you can call and say, hey, Eric, I'm a little late. And please, if you can't make it because of an emergency, let us know, because it takes 150 people to run this event. And so if a lot of people start dropping out on us, it makes it tough for us to be able to manage the event. So if we can get a little heads up, then we can try to plan a little bit better. But we know things happen and life happens. Just let us know the best you can. Let's ask some questions. Carrie, any more came in?
Yes, so I answered as many as I could, but I bet your answers are going to be better than mine. So
No,
we're
you
just
never
going
know.
to go through them again. So, um, people had a question about items that could be used with someone who's maybe more tech savvy or more repair savvy than they are. So does sorting include what is scrap and what's still usable?
So not really. So what happens there is the our friends who built more computers, if they see it's computer items, periphery, things like this, they're taking those items and trying to make sure that they can find new life and new homes and new markets for those things. But on the other side of things, no. So if someone comes in and says this dehumidifier kind of works a little bit, if somebody worked on it, they could get it going. We don't have an ability to send that to a shop somewhere for someone to repair it and get it ready to go again. Some people tell us that hey, this thing works perfectly fine, and I just don't have space for it. We often say to people, please consider taking it down to Habitat. They would love to have it. They would love to have this. If it's still working, if it's still in good shape, please consider taking it to there because we don't have that. We're not going to load up a truck full of things and start taking it all over town and dropping it off. Again, it's back to let's train our citizens of where they can take items. And so, Habitat's a great resource for those sort of things. We have a club that works with us. That's the Glitch Club, and this is I think it's a collection of high schoolers that are in this club that do robotics and all sorts of really cool STEM projects. And sometimes they will take items from these events. They'll volunteer at these events and they'll take items that they want to work on, take apart, rebuild. That's awesome, but it's definitely not the usual. All those electronics are going to go down to a company in Spartanburg, and they're going to go through this amazing machine that's going to shred and then sort it by the material. And each of those material streams that comes out is then recaptured and reused. So, it is going to actually be recycled and not straight landfilled. Anything else?
Just a quick clarification. The event goes from 10 to 2 for the public. So the public part of the event goes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., but the volunteer shifts are broken up into 9 a.m. to noon and 11:30 to 2:30, and there is an intentional 30-minute overlap in the middle there just to get the new volunteers on board before the morning volunteers leave. So
Oof. Thank you for saying that, Carrie, because it is critical to make sure we have that overlap because right around lunch is when it really picks up. I mean, we'll go from, hey, this is manageable to, oh my goodness. And so having that extra group of folks there and ready to go is fantastic for us. And again, trying to access the event, come in from the Salem Hill Road side because it's going to be so busy trying to get through the school to get to us. And so I'm going to send that out as one more email along with this recording so everyone gets a chance to see this. But we're just trying to make this easy for you to get in and out. And you're going to be parking close. So let me roll this back so you can see the parking lot real quick here. You're going to be parking close to where we're going to be. So as you can see, volunteer parking is right here next to the event. So it's right there, and there's no other events supposed to be happening at the school this weekend. So we should have we should, fingers crossed, have the lay of the land. We've been surprised in the past, haven't we?
yes, yes, we
And
have.
so we're pretty flexible. We do the best we can. But things happen. We will have basic first aid on sites, but that's mostly for scratches and bug bites and things along those lines. But if anything serious does happen, we call the right persons to come in and sort those situations. And again, knock on wood, we've been really fortunate that we keep people safe because we talk about what are the issues that we're going to have there. I didn't mention this before, but we will have a clean porta-john on site. It will be delivered Friday afternoon for us. It'll be that little orange star there. And then again, we'll try to keep you comfortable as we can with treats and beverages throughout the day. What else?
That that leads into another really great question from a couple people about if our volunteers have items to bring to Hard to Recycle. What
Yeah.
is the best way for them to get through the line?
So I recommend, so if you're showing up at 9, we do what we call the roundup at 9:30. That's where everybody gets in a circle and we talk about the event one last time. We see everything. So you have 9 to 9:30 to go around to each of the stations and unload. So if you're coming in on second shift though and want to unload your items, you could wait till the end of the event and unload your items. That might be the best way to do it because then you're not having to try to fight to get through all of the traffic. And then you're going to get that extra special care from all of us there taking care of you. So we want to make sure we're taking care of everybody. Hey, Mimi, there's our office lover. We love her to death. So the I would recommend for the second shift folks just to hang out with it in your car till we get to the end of the event, and even say to us too, it's like, hey, I'm just going to jog over here and I'm going to pull my car down. We're like, absolutely, we got you, we got you. We're going
Yeah.
to take care of this.
There's not really a best way, I guess, to do it. You just communicate with us and we'll get you taken care of.
Yeah, wear your vest when you're going through as a driver. Oh, there's one of our volunteers.
One of us, one of us.
One of us.
Louisa asked a great question about should we give cash immediately to the leader or keep the cash? And I think she was asking for data collection. So if you're on the data collections team, we're going to be providing you containers to put the cash in. If you are not on the data collections team and someone gives you cash, either for a TV fee or for a donation, yes, get that to the nearest group leader for sure. Do we take old frying pans, Eric?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Considered scrap metal for sure. So I don't know. Somebody try to stump the chump here. What kind of item? Philip,
Uh,
what's the crazy thing we've seen come through?
oh,
Bicycles. We take bicycles.
We do take bicycles. We do take bicycles. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
the craziest thing we ever had to Philip was remember the person that tried to bring us that X-ray machine?
Yeah, we're still working. We could have opened a clinic.
So it turns out we can't take an X-ray machine. That was an interesting one because we just
Uh,
cannot. Those are those have to go through a very specific thing. But thankfully, our friends at More Iron and Metal, they know how to handle that piece. So they were able to work with this person and say, one, you're supposed to work with an accredited company for this. Don't just drive it down here in your car and drop it off. You're supposed to pay to have these things recycled. So they did work with us. And the other time, Philip, I don't know if you were there for this one. Somebody tried to bring us a Prius battery.
I heard about this.
yeah, I didn't witness that, but I think it is part of the lore.
It is. It
What did
was
we do with that?
it came in on a flatbed truck, like a rollback. It came in and and
Uh,
it's a big thing. It's substantial. It's like the whole bottom of the car. And you were all looking, it was like, oh, there's a rollback coming through the van. No, 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 no. There's no cars that need to be towed. He's like, no, no, I got a delivery for you here. And turns out we can't take those either because they can only be handled by an authorized dealership because with punctured, they can be quite dangerous to deal with. But good news, our friends from Biltmore Iron and Metal knew how to sort that one as well for us, and they made arrangements for this person to go. Turns out you're supposed to take it to a dealership and pay the dealership to take them. So we do have odd things that happen occasionally. So X-ray machines and explosive giant car battery from a
right.
hybrid car. No.
Yeah, we recently someone brought traffic flares. Remember those?
That box of traffic flares.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and here's what's funny about that box of traffic flares. I remember it came around, I was like, no, we can't take it, put it back in the car. And then later on, and then I found that box of traffic flares. Someone had just left it. They just got it out of their car and they just sat it down. And
Yep.
so that was fun for us to figure out where to take that one.
All
By the way,
right.
went to the landfill to their household hazardous waste disposal.
It's a good comment in here about Ulta at the mall also takes TerraCycle items, probably
Ooh,
beauty and hair care TerraCycle items, but thank you, Monica.
yeah, Monica, that's cool. I'll have to let's make note of that. Let's add that to
Yeah.
our list.
Uh,
Did they think they take all products or just their products? I wonder.
I don't know. We'll have to look into it
Let's
and see
look into
what
that.
they
That's a cool
say.
one.
Yeah. Where can we take oil or gas can? Gas.
So gasoline always has to go to the landfill. So they have their household hazardous waste days, and they're doing it twice a month now, which is really nice. And so you can take it up there. You do pay. I want to say it's something like a
Once
dollar,
a
two
month through the
dollars.
winter.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're going into winter. I forget. Winter is coming.
They
Uh,
just had it a couple days ago, so they won't have another one until October.
oh boy. So that is the only place you can take fuels is the county landfill, and it's only on their household hazardous waste days. I actually went and worked one last month with the county landfill just to see how it goes. Like, what do they do there? It's insane. It's absolutely insane. I thought our hard to recycle events were wild, and then I went to one of those, and so it's well ran. It's just a different universe because they specialize in chemicals and deadly hazardous things that come in. So
Do we take durable metal, God, I cannot get metal out of my head. Durable medical equipment, such as
yeah,
wheelchairs and walkers.
We take them. We just, if there was a better source for them to go to, I'm not sure if Habitat takes them. I'm not sure if Goodwill takes them. There was a ABCCM was they had a medical closet, and we might have to do a little figuring on that one, Carrie, to see if we can direct folks there. There was a medical reuse closet that was in Asheville. I know they have like really sticky rules about reusing items because the insurer wants you to buy another one. I'm sorry. They want you to have a one that's in perfect working order. Sorry, that's what I'm supposed to say. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, let's do a little research about that and stick it on there. I mean, we can take it to recycle it, but we would love
Yeah.
to see it be reused.
What about so this there's a particular like batteries that you plug into like hardware, like reusable drills or like lawn
Oh yeah,
equipment, like those kind of
absolutely,
batteries.
absolutely.
Yeah, we do.
Take all of
Yeah, I
those.
think we take all power sources, right? I don't think there's anything we don't take.
No, it's just a giant Prius battery out of cars, X-ray
Right.
machines.
If
Those are
you're still
things.
here, Greg, yes, just show up at 9 a.m. and we'll see you Saturday. Thanks for coming.
All right, gang. Well, if that's all the questions, and you can ask me more questions through email once I send you another one about driving in the back entrance here.
Oh,
Other
there was a question about lunch. Sorry. We don't provide actual like lunch, but we do provide lots of heavy snacks. So there'll be
heavy
tons of
snacks.
snacks and drinks. So you could definitely fill up on what we're going to provide. But if you want something specific, like a sandwich or, whatever you need, I would bring it.
Yeah, if you're working a double shift, then consider bringing a sandwich or something to offset all of the snackos that we're going to be providing. All right, gang. Well, I think that's everything. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording here. Thank you, everyone. There we go. There.